Welcome back to the Grand Solar Minimum channel. Today is Thursday, December 26th, 2019. We hope everyone had a Merry Christmas and is enjoying some time off, hopefully with the family. If not, you're going back to work. Well, here's your Grand Solar Minimum news update for this morning. Right now, our solar wind speeds are coming in at 398.0 kilometers per second with a density of 6.6. And we have two sunspots to speak of today. AR2753 and AR2754. Now let's go over to our space weather section here at the grandsolarminimum.com. I'll go ahead and point these sunspots out to you really quickly here. Here is AR2753 and AR2754. AR2754 will probably likely fizzle out here within the next 12 to 24 hours. This one might actually turn Earth facing before, by the time it gets to the western limb, we could see that die out as well. Right now we're sitting at 277 days without sunspots, with 5 days left to go here in 2019. My prediction of 277 I think is long gone out the window. I just don't see how that sunspot sticks around for the full 5 days. If it does, some pretty crazy stuff there. We've always seen these sunspots so far in this minimum period kind of fizzle out within 2 to 3 days. For the most part, most of these sunspots only make it a day to 36 hours. So we do have two sunspots. Like I said, this one here is the smallest of them all, and that one will probably fade out here soon. This one has a chance to kind of stick around at this time. Let's see, take a look at the SDO motion actually, if it'll play. We've had some issues with this on our website. Yep, there we go. So it's holding strong now. Well, we shall see here the next couple of days, as we only have a few. Actually, if you ask me, it looks like it's fading out as well. Both of these sunspots, by the way, are members of solar cycle 25. That does not mean that the minimum is over, but it does mean that we are approaching the beginning of a new solar cycle, and which we all know within the next 6 months to 12 months, activity on the sun will start to get a little bit more increasingly, but nothing to what we have been used to seeing, that's for sure. But time will tell, and we'll continue to monitor this as we go through the next several months of 2020. And KP indices sitting at a 1 with a 24-hour max of a 3. TCI is down to 3.12. Nothing crazy, but that's where it's been returning to every time we get a little bit of an uptick in the temperatures in the thermosphere. So still not yet breaking the 2.0 mark, which the record is 2.05 set back in 2009. All right, let's take a look at our friends' weather forecast across the pond here in the UK. Let's take a look at the radar first. Lots of rain heading in right now to the United Kingdom as we speak. Ireland, pardon me. Ireland also getting some rain showers, and southeast UK experiencing rain showers, heavier rain showers towards London as we speak right now. Those are moving through and moving out. Also getting chances of rain in Belgium, and the Netherlands will also see some rain later on. But northern UK tends to get the most of this today, as Northern Ireland will see more rain today than most of the United Kingdom. Let's take a look at our forecast and our outlook here in the UK. Starting with today, this afternoon, intermittent rain affecting southern, western, and central areas, heavy rain in places, and perhaps prolonged, but a few drier and brighter interludes. The northeast may be drier for the most of the day, but rather chilly. For tonight, rain moving northeastwards across the UK and becoming heavy and persistent across western Scotland. Low clouds developing across many central and southern areas. And then on Friday, rain clearing across England, Wales, and much of Northern Ireland to give a mainly dry and mild, rather cloudy afternoon. Rain across central and western Scotland with strong winds. And let's take a look and see what kind of flood alerts we have right now. They are down from last week. We had quite a bit, actually, over 150 flood alerts. Nothing serious, though. And right now we only have 30 flood warnings and 0 severe flood warnings at this time. Take a look at the euro. Yeah, it's busy. We've got plenty of action heading towards the UK. Some of it missing it, some of it getting nailed right on the nose here. One thing that we're missing, snow. Still waiting for that snow. And I know I get questions every day from folks in the UK. When is it going to get cold here? When is it going to get cold here? Right now, we're just in one of those mild patterns. I'd hate to say this. In like a lamb, out like a lion certainly looks like it's the possibility here for us in the UK. Same goes for the US. Let's take a look at Southern California first. Last night, there were concerns of a tornado warning, believe it or not, approaching Santa Barbara around 2 a.m. last night. Now, just by looking at this radar, you can see the rotation of this storm. Right now, San Diego getting the worst of it. Heavy rain right now. Los Angeles also getting pounded with heavy rain. We will continue to monitor this. Nothing really in the news about this right now either. This is not usual for this part of the year to get this kind of heavy rain or even severe weather in this part. There's a song out there, I believe, called It Never Rains in Southern California. Well, today it just made that song a liar. All right, let's take a look at some of our freezing numbers right now. As Joe Bastardi puts it, we are in a ridge to fridge right now, and I'll talk about that here in a second. Freezing temperatures across the Northwest, Upper Midwest, and the Plain States, the Northeast. Take a look at watches. Some just now popped up recently, and the ones I'm talking about are right here. We have winter storm warnings right now, winter weather advisories. These will turn into storm warnings, I'm sure of, over the next several hours, is what I'm getting ready to show you. Up in upstate New York, winter weather advisories. Freezing rain and ice is possible for this region. And then down here, we're looking at a dense fog advisory. A friend of ours in Texas, north central Texas, was talking about all the fog he's seen lately. And now he is going to be experiencing even more fog today. Minimum temperatures don't look all that bad, folks. If you live in the Midwest, the Tennessee Valley, especially on the western part of Tennessee, Mississippi, Arkansas, Missouri, temperatures minimum-wise look pretty good right now. And here's the maximum. 70s all over the place. Yeah, it's December 26th, December 27th. However, still kind of warm for this time of year for the South. Not going to lie on that. This is where Bastardi's talking about ridge to fridge. And right now, this is the ridge I'm talking about, this right here. As this colder air will start to push this off to the east, and we will see the return of winter. Noah, it's going to get messy this week because we got a major winter storm. Blizzard-like conditions are possible across the Midwest and the upper Midwest. Now, the concern tonight is going to be upstate New York, New Hampshire, Vermont, Connecticut, Massachusetts, and parts of Maine, as we have a freezing rain event that could take place tonight. Now, at this moment, they're not expecting more than 1/10 of an inch and maybe a 1/2 inch of snow and sleet. Either way, it will be icy tonight. So if you're traveling between 10 p.m. and 10 a.m. tomorrow, take it easy. Temperatures will rebound, though, for tomorrow here in upstate New York and other parts of the Northeast. Temperatures will be above freezing for the whole weekend as we've got lots of rain to deal with. And check this out. That storm in the Midwest starts to really rear its ugly head across parts of Colorado, Nebraska, Iowa, Minnesota, South Dakota, Kansas. You're also in the mix. Arizona, New Mexico, and maybe some frozen precip for the panhandle of Texas and Oklahoma as well. And then by Saturday, well, that big storm is getting stronger. And there's going to be lots of thunderstorms and rain involved with this here coming through the Midwest, Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee, and the South. You guys are going to be mainly dealing with just rain at this point. But don't worry, there is indications on the GFS that show us we will see some winter weather of our own. Let's take a look at a quick recap of what's going to happen this week. There's that severe weather in the Southern California area, snow in the higher elevations. That moves east into Arizona. This is where our storm is born, basically. Arizona, New Mexico, Utah, Colorado. This thing gets its act together probably around Saturday and then really starts to develop across the Midwest into the northern plains. By Saturday, December 28th, as this thing moves off into the east, more snow on the back end, rain on the front, heavier snow towards Minnesota and Wisconsin as this thing moves on out. And this is going to be a mainly, now watch out Maine. This is going to start off as snow, switch to ice, and then heavy snow by Monday, December 30th. And this storm, this storm here in the Northeast, the only place that's really going to be affected from this next major storm is going to be parts of Maine. And by looking at this radar here, by this indication, light snow beginning on Monday, turns to heavy, to ice, then back to heavy snow by overnight Monday. We could be talking about a foot of snow in some spots in the Northeast, especially in Maine. And then on the back end of this, Tuesday into Wednesday, lake effect snows all over the place in the Northeast, New York, Pennsylvania, Ohio, northern Indiana, and Michigan. These will all be light lake effect type snow showers from the back end of this big storm that we're going to have. And they kind of stick around for a little bit, especially for New York and Erie, PA. We'll see some light lake effect snows into the new year. And now system number 2 is moving its way towards the Midwest. Unfortunately, more rain for the Midwest, Ohio Valley. You guys will see some icing in Columbus and north, but that turns to all rain as we get another ridge to fridge. Snow in the Northeast by Friday, January 3rd. As this system moves out again, more cold air behind it on the back end. And then we get to January 5th, a quick little clipper system. And then we get this. This was the storm that I was watching the last broadcast, the one that's down here in the south. This one, it didn't show indications. It was actually leaving the East Coast. I also made a mention that this could turn into a nor'easter. Watch this. Here we are on Monday, January 6th. And pretty much the Northeast is inundated with snow. So the GFS likes the idea of a decent snow event here on Monday, January 6th. Temperatures will be more than cold enough for this. So we'll have to continue to watch this, even though it's still quite a ways out. This system keeps popping back up on the GFS. It was all rain. Now it's all snow, and it's closer to the coast. Again, another little system at the end of the month, at the end of this run here on January 8th. In my opinion, folks, I think winter's back. Give it a few days. I'll tell you the dates here, folks. I want to point out something here. This is the ridge to fridge. So if you look here, it's ridging. We'll see warmer air and then cold blast, and then another ridge, and then another cold blast. So we get 2 of these short-term cold blasts. One here in the new year, and then one again towards the middle of the next, actually one towards the 11th of January, I should say. Here's that first blast. There's your ridge right here. Joe Bastardi is talking. Here's your ridge moving out to fridge. This is December 30th. Shot of cold air across the Midwest and the Northeast. And then we get a little bit more ridging, believe it or not, in early January. And then back to the fridge by January 4th, especially for the Northeast. And that Arctic air is pushing down even more intensely. It's, again, a slight ridge happening here by January 5th. But this Arctic cold air, now I've talked about this, guys. I've said this area up here was very bright pink, and it was moving southward. Look what's happening. That cold mass is moving southward now over Canada into the United States. I did say that by the second week of January, it looks like we could see some of the coldest air of the season, and definitely for 2020, by the second week of January. And right now, if this continues to develop the way it's developing, we are actually going to see that, especially in the Northeast. This is January 7th. We've got some single-digit temperatures, very, very frigid air moving into the Northeast by then. And then if you take a look here, January 7th, that cold air kind of looks like it's trying to dominate Canada and the United States, especially the Northeast. Not much ridging happening here. Again, a slight warm-up. This is the possible for the next ridge and fridge. That's what we're going to call them for the rest of the year. Thank you, Joe Bastardi. Wow, this is kind of intense, actually. So here's your next ridge, and there's your fridge. And as this cold air moves out, the way this has been rotating, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Indiana, Michigan, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, New York, and the Northeast, this cold should engulf this area right here by mid-January. Now, I know it's January, so we're supposed to have cold weather. I get that. But I'm just giving you guys a heads up of when we could expect some very cold Arctic blasts coming our way. Plus, we've got chances for snow increasing as the month of January continues. All right, that's going to do it for us today in the morning. Check back tomorrow morning for another grand solar minimum update. And then Friday night, we will do a live broadcast, a full report of the grand solar minimum. The holidays kind of mess with stuff a little bit, so we apologize for not being on the air here lately. But we are back, and we will see you guys tomorrow morning. Until then, have a great day, and we'll talk soon.
Do you like this show? Give us a thumbs up. Want to support us more? Share to your favorite social media platform. Buy a t-shirt or become a Patreon. All links are in the description below.